Happy Monday, everybody. It is 10 o'clock. It is time for 10 with Tim. It's the start of a new week, and we are starting it in the Word. I appreciate you so very, very much. I love all of you. I love the fact that some of you come back after work or late at night or sometime over the weekend and catch up. But I really do appreciate those of you who make time every day. You're able to join me live, and I appreciate that so very much. Thank you for your friendship, your fellowship in the Word. We are approaching one of my favorite stories in all of Scripture. I love the story of Jacob wrestling. But before that, we are here in Genesis chapter 32, verses 1 to 21. It's the buildup. It's the preliminary, and it's really pretty interesting. So anyway, let's jump right in. Chapter 32, verses 1 to 21. It starts in a strange way. It starts with Jacob beginning on his way. Again, he is now leaving Laban and making his way back to the land of Canaan. And it's interesting that angels greet him. You know, remember back, and I think it's supposed to be a parallel sort of story. Remember when he was first departing Canaan, leaving for the land of Aram, that he encountered the angels, you know, the stairway to heaven and all of that at Bethel. Now he's departing again, now leaving Aram to go back to Canaan, and the camp of angels, you know, greet him. I think in some ways we're supposed to see that they are accompanying him. They're with him. It's not that they just appear and disappear, but that in certain moments his eyes are open and he's able to see these invisible but mighty companions on the journey. So he sees the angels of God. He names the place Mahanaim, which means two camps. It means two camps, but it's the camp of God. That title, two camps, is often debated. People aren't sure why it would be two camps, except that later Jacob himself will divide his own camp into two camps. And so there's speculation there that maybe Jacob sees the camp of God divided into two camps, and that's the way he is told to divide his own camp. I don't know, but scholars have often struggled over exactly how to understand the name of this as two camps, the double camp of God, so to speak. So understand that the word for angels is always messengers. And so the messengers of God now are sort of have their counterparts when Jacob himself sends messengers. So there's that connection, that straight line to the next part, where Jacob sends messengers ahead to go and prepare Esau for the fact that Jacob is arriving. As I've said, Jacob is now free from Laban, who's been his adversary for the last 20 years. But I think we all realize that the greater challenge here is going to be meeting Esau. Remember that when last we saw Esau, his pledge was to kill Jacob. He will kill him. And we don't know what's happened to Esau. We don't know what his life has been like. We don't know if he's cooled off. And so we're about to find that out. That's what Jacob wants to know. The other thing we don't know is about Jacob. It's obvious that we're now reaching this moment of fulfillment. You know, when earlier, Jacob was in the company of the angels at Bethel, it was this moment of promise when God was saying, I love you, I will be with you, I'm going to bless you. Remember, and Jacob says, well, we'll see about that, Jacob makes sort of a partial commitment. It's never been really clear to what extent Jacob's faith was his own or whether it was just inherited, from his daddy, That's what we need to know. In this moment of fulfillment, is Jacob ready? Is his faith in God his own, or is it borrowed from his father's? Is Jacob morally ready to be the recipient of all of God's blessings and grace? Is Jacob in any way a changed man? And that's what we're about to find out. Make no mistake, that's what we're about to find out. So Jacob sends his messengers ahead to greet Esau, and he lets him know, in case you've been wondering where I've been for 20 years, I've been with Uncle Laban, and God has blessed me. And he lets Esau know in many ways that blessing is real, that blessing he stole has turned out to be real. And so he has amassed great wealth, cattle, donkey, flocks of sheep, goats, many servants, and And now I'm sending these messengers ahead to let you know that I'm coming, and I hope that you'll be friendly to me. I think that's interesting and kind of amazing. Notice, I'm sure you did actually, notice that in this message to Esau, the way he says, humble greetings from your servant Jacob. And he calls him my Lord. Remember how from the very beginning, the promise was that the youngest is going to rule over the oldest. The oldest will serve the younger. And so here, Jacob, you could say it's just Middle Eastern diplomacy. My Lord, your servant, just sort of showing deference, but I think it's obviously more than that. I think Jacob truly is showing a certain kind of respect here, and he submits and surrenders himself and calls himself the servant of Esau and calls Esau Lord. Again, it's this amazing tension with the reversal that we know has happened in the patriarchal realm, in the spiritual realm. Jacob truly is the recipient of the blessing. In that sense, he's greater, but here he still submits himself. And that's interesting because Jacob doesn't submit easily. This is a guy who always puts himself first, but in this preparation for encounter, he is placing himself in the position of the servant. That's interesting. We don't know what happens with those first round of messengers, but when they come back, they just say, yeah, Esau is on his way with 400 men. Now, we don't know exactly what's happened to Esau, but we now know he's got 400 men, which tells us that Esau hasn't done so badly for himself either. He has also become a man of some kind of power, and he's somebody to be reckoned with, and he's got 400 men, which is enough and a lot. And so Jacob has no idea what this means now. And so now, notice what Jacob does. He divides his camp into two camps. He sends, one wife one direction with her kids and the other wife in another direction, splits all the flocks. And again, that's just good strategy because he reckons that, he can't kill everybody if I send them in two directions. And so Jacob is trying to plot and to plan because we know that's what he does. But he also does something here that we haven't seen him do very often, and that is just to pray. Jacob prays at this point. He prays. Notice how he prays. Oh, God of my grandfather Abraham, God of my father Isaac, oh Lord, you told me, So at this point, Jacob's kind of going to go back in and kind of cash in on the promise, right? Lord, you told me that you treat me kindly, and you told me that you would. And notice what he says in verse 10. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of all the unfailing love and faithfulness you have shown me. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. I'm your servant and I'm not worthy. When I left home and crossed the Jordan, I owned nothing but a walking stick. I had nothing, but to clothes on my back. And now, what you've given me, I'm not worthy. It's just interesting. Has he changed? Because when has he ever thought he wasn't worthy? I mean, Jacob always felt worthy. He always found a way, to get the best. He always found a way, but this sort of sounds like a different Jacob, right? So what's he do? He sends everybody ahead, and then he starts sending wave after wave of gifts for Esau. He's got 20 male goats, 200 ewes, 20 rams, 30 female camels, 40 cows, 10 bulls, and he just sends wave after wave of gifts for Esau. Is this genuine? Is it bribery? Every time the messengers come and they say, hey, Jacob's coming. Is it Jacob's way of trying to get Esau to stay put? At any rate, at the end of this passage, when we get to, verse 20, 21, Jacob is by himself. He's by himself. And he's waiting for the encounter with his brother Esau. We have no idea. Is Esau going to be another Cain? Is he going to kill his brother? Is Esau going to do what he said he would do when he promised? He swore he's going to kill his brother. Is he going to do that? Because we don't know. We have no idea. He's just on his way with 400 men. That's enough to do the job. Jacob's got a lot, but he don't have an army. Esau's got an army. What's going to happen? It's this moment of incredible tension. One other thing that I notice here, Jacob sent everybody on ahead and he's last. Now you could say that's self-protection, send everybody else. And then if he gonna kill somebody, maybe he'll be tired of killing by the time he gets to him. But I'm not sure that's what we're supposed to see here. Remember, Jacob's always been first. Remember that even at birth, he was grabbing the heel. He was trying to be first. And now all of a sudden, this man who's always put himself first, he has put himself last. I don't know. I think we're expected to understand that something's happened in the heart of Jacob. He's at this moment when all of God's promises are becoming fulfillment. But we have to ask, is he ready for that? Is he ready to see the face of his brother? This last verse here, this last little speech of Jacob includes the word face in the Hebrew over 4 times. When I see my brother's face, I'm going to try to appease him. That word for appease is Hebrew. It means to cover the face. I'm going to cover his face, with gifts ahead of me. And then when I see his face, maybe he will show me a friendly face. He just uses this word face, because I'm telling you, it's not Esau's face he's about to see. It's the face of God. And that's what we pick up tomorrow. Oh, I love it. Chapter 32 for tomorrow, verses 22 to 32. Chapter 32, 22 to 32. It's so good. It's so good. Jacob is going to have an enemy jump out of the darkness and rush him to the ground. You think it's Esau, but it's not Esau. Turns out this whole time, challenge hasn't been, to meet Esau. Jacob's about to meet God face to face. I love it. So read ahead for tomorrow. I'll see you in the morning. I can't wait. In the morning, 10 o'clock for 10 with Tim. I love you guys. It's Monday. It's my day off. I'm heading to Myers, do my grocery shopping, and you stay in the Word. I will see you in the morning, Lord willing, 10 o'clock for 10 with Tim. I love you guys. Can't wait for